Stay Ukrainian, my friends. Stay
Sponsored by Ukrainian Credit Union. Believe it or not, it's me, Ron Cahoot, with
Stay Ukrainian, my friends.
Stay Ukrainian, my friends.
The ultimate possibility to really improve child health or to improve the healthcare that you're offering for somebody is by having the whole team come together and talk. And so because of that, we have actually had radiologists. This year we have a neonatologist for the first time joining us, and we have a neurologist. We continue to have a lot of specialization in neurosurgery. But the program has really expanded to make sure that we're encompassing the entire team approach. So you should all feel proud of helping to influence that in Ukraine.
We have now had 24 physicians come from Ukraine to spend a month at Sick Kids Hospital. Some have actually come 2 times. And last year, for 15 months, we had a pediatric surgeon from U come and actually do a full clinical fellowship, the way it's generally done.
Geez, there's a lot of smart doctors, a lot of people here, smart people, huh?
Ukraine has a lot of smart young people, and the tragedy is that so many of them are leaving Ukraine because they can't find opportunities to grow professionally. With medicine, it's a little different because they can't practice medicine in most countries outside of Ukraine because of lack of recognition of their medical training. But in so many other professions, Ukraine is losing huge numbers of young, talented people. And the government doesn't seem to be doing very much to try and turn that around. Yeah. But you see some of the most promising ones.
Dr.
here.
Oksana
Lozhetska.
Yes. Pediatric neurologist?
And adult neurologist. I started like adult neurologist and then life made me pediatric neurologist.
And of course, Dr. Miroslava Romach, doctor of psychiatry, professor at U of T. That's the impressive one.
Yes.
Professor at U of T. Okay, this is going to seem like a ridiculous question, but is the path to pediatric neurology in Ukraine the same as it is here? Is it as rigid? It's 5-year residency here after, you get a BS, you get a Bachelor of Science, and you got to get your MD, and then 5 years in neurology. And when you're 52, you graduate and you're a pediatric neurologist. You're very young.
Yes.
So how does it work in Ukraine?
It's work different. After medical school, we don't have pediatric neurology. You must be specialization like a pediatric for 2 years. And then you get specialization in pediatric neurology, and it's only 6 months. so
it's a contrast.
Is the end result the same as it is here?
Well, you mean equivalency in knowledge and competence? I don't know because there's never been a direct comparison. But as she says, here you have to have a 4-year undergraduate degree. There, they go into medical school immediately after high school, which is 11 years.
Yes.
Why waste time with a Bachelor of Science or one of those degrees?
Exactly. And medical school, I think, is what, 4 years?
6
years.
Well, there you go.
6 years. Yeah. Well, for us, it's 4 years.
Is it 4?
It's 4, and then you have to do it's not an internship. Then you have to do, for specialization, you have to do 4 years of specialization on top of that.
It's important to note that these young physicians, and we do try to bring only young people, our criteria are physicians under the age of 40 who've been practicing for only a couple of years, because we feel that they're the most open to looking at things in new ways and trying to implement some change, and are not sort of fixed in their views of how things should be done. So have more contact with Western colleagues through conferences they're starting to go to. Most of them, they have to speak English to some extent to come here and derive some benefit. So they're reading the literature, so they have an understanding of how medicine in Europe and in North America is evolving. It's evident to them that Ukraine is falling further and further behind as the years pass on, and as everyone struggles to reform the healthcare system there and health education or medical education.
For doctors, they must to learn all the time. So you always need to improve your knowledge. So in 10 years or in 20 years you must learn, because everything is changing. So it's hard to say that, oh, cool, in 10 years I will be a huge doctors. No, you must all the time start learning, because everything is changing. And if you don't want to change, you won't be a good doctor anyway.
Yeah. So from what I gathered from tonight, you got the young and the old competing against it. There's this thing going on, is there?
Yeah, trying to get the older generation to move off and let the young
How's that working out?
It's not working well because you have people in positions of power who are in their 80s and refuse to leave and will not change anything because for them it's very comfortable financially because they worked out all kinds of schemes, financial schemes. And so it's very difficult for people like Oksana to go back and say, look, we need to do things this way. And they say, no, it's just fine the way it is for me.
It's worked for years, and why change
well,
it?
it works for me, and that's all.
Well, that's all that matters,
That's all
isn't
that
it?
matters,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, congratulations. It's just wonderful, and Sick Kids Hospital is a great hospital, huh?
It's a wonderful hospital.
Yeah.
It's like I want to
It's
thank
like
you.
you're in a candy factory there. It's just,
Yeah,
you know.
and the most important is it doesn't look like a hospital because it's like, I don't know, like Disneyland.
Yeah, there's not a lot of-
Someday you should travel to Ukraine and do this interview in a Ukrainian children's hospital.
Yeah.
And it's like black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we
Well, the whole
try,
object of Sick Kids is not to make it look like a hospital. These children,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and it's. I think it's also one thing that we need to change in Ukraine because, like, this afraid white jacket, it's also very like
Yeah.
children. And she,
Well, not only white jackets, and they wear those
Yeah.
funny white caps.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Scary to children.
Yeah, here we have Cookie Monster on the stethoscope, you know, and it's and the doctors will wear blue jeans and
Yeah,
they're
you're-
kids. You can't, they're
Yeah.
actually they're a lot stronger than we think they are.
Oh, they're very strong.
One last question: do you expect to go back to Ukraine and become very frustrated?
Even if I have like 5 patients, it's good. I all the time. If you save one life, it's that you do all your not.
You've done your job.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to have some new equipment. Huh?
Yeah, it will be great.
Some of the stuff that Sick
We
Kids.
try all our best, but yes, it will be great. I mean, we don't need so many, but just the beginning one, and we will do
Baby
our-
steps. Baby steps.
Yeah, baby step. We don't want everything because in one moment, but step by step, I think. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing with us. You guys got to go out for dinner now.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for speaking
and
to us.
all the best, and safe trip back, and just keep saving lives.
Thank you.
And thank you too.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Stay Ukrainian, my friends, because they are.
Stay Ukrainian, my friends. Stay
Sponsored by Ukrainian Credit Union. Believe it or not, it's me, Ron Cahoot, with Stay Ukrainian, my friends. Still needs an accordion.